Thank you so much, Svein. I will try to share my screen. Need to move this one. There. You see, I'll just try to move it so that the same doesn't happen as the last time that I went on talking without my slides actually showing to move. Are they moving? Great. Okay. Just reorganizing a little bit here. There. Okay, so the title of my presentation is, sorry, still trying to reorganize. There. Sustainable circularity and influencing business through product regulation. And so I will aim in this presentation to sort of address these two questions. What is sustainable circularity and how can product regulation influence business in transitioning towards more sustainable circularity? And so why sustainable circularity? Why not just circular economy, as I it's a buzzing word at the moment, and that's indeed what I focus on my PhD. But of course, it does start with circular economy, and I just want to say a little bit about that, because we talk about circular economy because we essentially still live in the linear economy. That is, the take, make, dispose model. Take resources from nature, turn them into product, and then consume them. And usually quite quickly dispose of them. And this model is based on the assumption of endless economic growth. And as we have already discussed earlier today, it's just unsustainable. And so the problem, of course, of this linear model we have in place is that not only is this the way we function, but it's also a lot of the rules that are in place are enabling this model. And so that companies that are trying to do things differently are really having troubles entering the market and being properly competitive. And so we started talking about a circular economy that contrary to the linear model, uses nature as a model, and nature is fundamentally circular. It reuses resources, it regenerates, creating as little waste as possible and using as little raw materials as possible. And so the circular economy is really started with this idea of loops, of using waste to make new material, so recycling and recovery, but also direct reuse to some extent. But the issue with that is that very often the policies that have been put in place as part of this, this idea of a circular economy, just still a part of this idea of endless growth. And so circular economy policies sometimes do not meet the at least ecological aspects of sustainability. So this idea of green growth is really based on efficiency that Jason was talking about, making more product with less resources. And that just is not possible. It goes against the basic laws of nature. Not that efficiency is not a good thing. It is a good thing. We have a lot of efficiency to gain, but it is just not enough. We're using too much resources. We have used too much resources. We are at a stage that is so grave that we can't just be more efficient. And also the issue with a lot of circular economy policies is that they focus on recycling, and there's only so much we can recycle. there's really a limit to how much we are able to reuse materials. And because, again, the laws of nature means that whenever we process things, we lose in energy, we lose in materials. So it is just not enough. And also efficiency is often comes with economic savings, and in our current system, those savings end up being used to purchase more stuff. So there's, in the end, no actual resources savings at all. And also, and most dire, I would say, circular economy policies are about environmental protection, but not about the human side. As Jason really well explained this morning, we are consuming on the back of a lot of people all over the world, workers being exploited, local habitats and traditions being destroyed, and also even in our so-called developed societies, equal access to this kind of consumption that we have created, that is supposed to bring us well-being, is not available to everyone, and we see that more than ever with the pandemic. And so a circular economy really only makes sense if it is meant to achieve sustainability. We are not aiming to achieve circular economy. That is not the goal. The goal is a safe space, safe and just space for humanity. So circular economy has to fit within that frame. And so a sustainable circular economy or sustainable circularity is most particularly to be about sufficiency and about justice. And when we talk about sufficiency, we really talk about producing and consuming less. We talk about extending the lifetime of products, about repair, about maintenance, and not so much about recycling. And we talk about justice, and this is something an aspect that is so much to be done about still. Again, how do we produce the stuff that we still going to consume, so that we stop consuming on the back of others, and also making sure that what we consume is safe, but also brings something to this human well-being also that Jason also was referring to. And I believe that two very key features of sustainable circularity are to be precaution and transparency. And I will come back to that a little bit when I talk about how product regulation can influence business. Because of course, achieving sustainability is about so much, and Beate presented how company law can be changed in order to meet this goal, but there are also things to be done at a lot of different levels, and product regulation is definitely one. And I'll present different ways of where product regulation or product-related regulation can influence business. In particular, based on EU legislation, because this is where a lot has been done, and because it's even in the context of the Nordics, this is what a lot of Nordic countries are in fact applying. And when we talk about extending the lifespan of products, we need to consider how products are designed, and they need to be designed for durability and repairability. And so if we look at the regulation, we have an eco-design directive, a framework directive, which essentially is not about durability and repairability. It started as being about energy efficiency. And what is really interesting about this scheme is that it regulates very specifically each different categories of products. And once they're regulated, they mean that any products that don't abide by those standards just cannot enter the market. So you get rid of all the worst performance on the market. And that is a very, very strong scheme, and it applies to the whole market, so that you have no harmonization of products. So you cannot just go and buy, sorry for the language, shitty product in another country in Europe just because it's not available in yours, which would have been very easy with internet. And this eco-design is coupled with energy labeling that allows for consumers to be able to compare the performance of products, but it is also a way to push producers to compete on new basis that is not just the price, but also on other types of product performance. And this mix of these two policies and the other policies is really useful, because where eco-design eliminates the worst performance from the market, labeling allows to just draw the market a little bit further, and in turn it allows for the regulators to more quickly adopt higher standards, so that we have this shift towards more and more best performing products quickly, or more quickly. But of course, we're not quite there yet into how using the potential of eco-design. From just an efficiency, we need to start looking into really more important features of products: durability, repairability, reusability. And this has started for a number of products, and it is clear that the EU is starting to focus on those aspects. So that's good to see, and maybe in the near future we'll see this kind of labelings with durability indicators and repairability scores. And why not maybe inclusion of more sustainability criteria as well, so that we don't just focus on the environmental performance of products, but also on where it comes from. And that starts competing with the price focus. But production is one thing, and of course regulating production is a strong way of affecting businesses, but businesses also react to demand. So we need to change consumption. We need to change the way we consume, because we are a big part of the problem. The system of overconsumption is a big part of the problem, and that's information is an important part of it, although we know it sometimes has little impact, and that is why information in itself is not enough. It has to come with some kind of tools of teeth, so that if you require information about durability and repairability, you need to have some guarantees attached to that, so that you can rely on that, and you can call on the producers if their claim is not met. A very important aspect is also to change the relation to products. We have this idea that we buy new products, and when they fail, we just discard them and buy new. And we need to move into a new form of society that puts value in the existing. And so repair is a very, very important part of that. And there are a number of initiatives to increase the right to repair, and that's a strong way of changing the way business models work, because you put emphasis on a different kind of way of doing profits. I'll move on. I think maybe just mention advertising, because that's also something that Jason mentioned earlier, and I think it's also a very important aspect as well of minimizing the right to advertising anywhere, anyhow, and to anyone. And the issue of transparency was already been touched by Beate before. Sustainability due diligence is really a key moving forward, and for products we need to have access to information about the entire life cycle of products through a right to know by anyone. So the right to request information, which would mean in fact that producers have to know for themselves, because very often they are part of a chain of different actors, and they think that it's okay that they only have knowledge about their own part in the process, but a product is not just one part, it's its whole life cycle. So this obligation to know would also hopefully bring more awareness to what can be done and what can be changed. And the last aspect that really brings back this idea of precaution is and is very much informed by the success of eco-design, and that is to move or to strengthen the producer responsibility at a higher level. We have this concept of extended producer responsibility in waste law that says that producers have to be responsible for the waste of their products, and that is an important principle, and it has had some effect, but it has very little preventive effect. And so this idea of pre-market producer responsibility is really to say that, well, before placing products on the market, you will have to abide by a certain amount of obligations, and that could be, for example, requesting information about how much. What is the part of new materials that is contained in a product, or where they are sourced from, or requesting that if you put a product on the market, then you have to make available spare parts, or you have to put in place a repair system before putting the product on the market, so that you say in effect to the producer that it's not okay to just put a product on the market and then try to find out how to deal with it. But you have to think about how to deal with it before putting it on the market, before it starts having you start losing touch with it, because it changes hands and lives a different life. I'll just, since it's Black Friday, I thought I'll just make a mention of this Green Friday, which was an initiative from last year in France. There was a collective of Make Friday Green Again that was started by two young entrepreneurs, and it actually saw more than 500 brands and associations mobilize to denounce this phenomena of overconsumption. So I thought that was quite fitting to end with that on that note. Thank you.
Thank you, Eléonore.